Hello friends, it's Daryl, and we're going to be working on the 2009 Ford Escape today, and this is going to be the same procedure for 2008 through 2012, and it's probably the same for 2005 through 2007. So we've got this side window that suddenly fell down a couple weeks ago, just flopping up and down. So that usually tells you that the regulator has failed. This is the door panel we're going to be taking off, and from the looks of it, I only need 4 little tools, maybe even 3 to do this with. We're going to need a T30 Torx bit, a 10mm socket, and a Phillips screwdriver. Possibly a little flat screwdriver to raise some trim up. But it looks pretty straightforward and simple. The first thing we have to do is remove 3 Phillips screws from the trim panel that mounts the trim panel to the door. Now we're going to use a little pry tool to flip up the little cover plate that's in the bottom of the door pull handle. You just get a screwdriver under there like that and pop that out. It's just rubber. It's not even really attached to anything. It's just a flat piece of rubber that's to the side. And now down there we've got another Phillips. We have to remove the inner guard plate there, and we got to pull this handle open while we get a pry tool behind that little lip right there and pop that cover panel out. The clips on this little piece were kind of strong. There's 3 of them, and you had to pull pretty hard to get it out. Of course, it is cold here today, so that made it probably a little bit more difficult than it needed to be. Next up, we've got a Torx head bit in there, which is a T30. We need to take that big bolt out with the T30. Now we're going to use the pry tool and pop off this armrest switch cover. Work a little tool under the edge and pry smartly upwards, and it'll pop right out. Now that that's off, we can remove the wire connector for the power window and set that aside. Now the whole door panel should be able to be snapped off if we start on the side over here or on the bottom and just work our way around, slowly popping out all of the retainer pins. And the retainer pins are all the way down the outside this way and a couple up the side here. There's no retainer pins across the top. This is a little hook that hooks down into the door frame. Use a trim tool or a nice wide flat blade putty knife. You can get your fingers under there, pull it out, and then there you go. There's a cable connector that we have to release, and then the wire that goes to the handle, and we'll have this all set aside. There's a second T30 right here on this armrest bracket that needs to come off. Now we need to carefully remove the door installation all the way around. We're going to do it really carefully so we can reuse it. Most of the time you don't even have to glue it again. It'll stick right back in place where it was. We moved the window back down to the lowered position, and then we come over here to the side where we got this pulled back. There's going to be 2 10mm bolts. Let's see if I get my finger up. Right there in the open, and another one right in here through this hole here. Remove both of these with your 10mm socket. Then manually raise the glass all the way back up and secure it in place. Tape it back up while we change the regulator. Remove the power window connector by pushing down hard on the back edge and sliding it toward the front of the vehicle. 3 bolts and 2 nuts left to go. We're going to loosen these 2 here. They don't have to be taken out because they've got access slots. This one here has to be taken out. And then 2 10mm nuts to the rear will totally release the regulator. See, once we secured the window up all the way and took that nut out, both the nuts and the screws, the whole window regulator assembly drops off to the bottom, and you're going to get hold of the tall part here and just bring it right up through there like that. This one failed suddenly when we closed the door in the back. We never opened the window back there, so I was kind of surprised it failed, but it didn't actually break. What happened was the lower cable, the mount, which is this plastic part right there with the blue tint, that's supposed to be secured into the housing there, just like this one here is, so they don't come out. And somehow or other it broke and came out. We went on Amazon, we bought a brand new one. Can you believe it? 30 bucks. Might have been even a little less than 30 bucks, but that's a heck of a deal for a brand new window regulator that's so easy to change. Do this yourself in an hour for 30 bucks. A shop would probably charge you 200. We're gonna lay it right down there and compare it, eyeball it real quick. It looks the same from what I can see, and it comes with all 3 of the new bolts. We'll have to take that top one out, and it's got the new studs in it. Yeah, everything looks perfect. Let's see if we can record and work at the same time. So I'm going to hold the motor like this with the electric motor part facing kind of upward. And we're going to drop the back end of the regulator into the hole until it's all the way in. It goes behind the lock rod. We're going to take this part, I'm going to bring that over, all the way over, and you're going to line the bolts up, they're loose, the 2 loose bolts up with the cutouts, and then push them down. And then we're going to tighten those up real quick to hold it in place. You see what I'm talking about there? The slotted ones? Tuck that firmly in and then tighten them up real quick. Now we reach behind and grab the bracket, and we wiggle it into place so the stud comes through on the top and down on the bottom. And we're going to quickly put those nuts back on. Next, we lower the window down, the glass, so that it lines up with the little holes there that are going to keep it in place. There's one there, and then one back through this big hole right here. And I say we'll probably have to raise up a little bit on it to line that one up where we can reach it. The only difference on the motor and parts I've found is there's no wire connector here on the side to plug your switch into. Instead, there's a long wire that comes out the upper part of the motor here, which makes it easier to get a hold of and push into place. Make sure you're not going to let this extra wire get in the way of where the motor goes up and down at. And yeah, that should be fine like that. It loops straight up into the air. It's not going to tip forward and catch anything. I think we'll be good there. And then this wire here is not going anywhere because it's connected down here. All right, now the other #1 rule I like to tell people when they do stuff like this is test it before you put it all back together, because you never know what might have got knocked loose or out of place, or maybe you did something wrong, or maybe the brand new $30 part doesn't work out of the box. You know, you just don't know for sure most of the time. So hook the switch back up, turn the key on, and see what happens. All right, keys on. Switch is here. Here we go. Look at that, just like brand new. Up and down. Take this tape off. Now we just gotta put the trim back on. All back together, all the trims perfectly aligned in place, the 3 screws there, the 1 screw under there. But make sure your lock rod goes up and down like it's supposed to. Put your trim handle back in there, put your Phillips screw down in here, and then drop the rubber cover plate in on top of that. And that was exactly 1 hour. And that was with me stopping to show you how to do it. So if I can do it in an hour, never having done this particular one before, you can too. Piece of cake. A little pry tool, a Phillips screwdriver, a T30 Torx, and a 10mm socket with a ratchet handle, maybe a flat pry bar, and you're good to go. Let's see. We got the Phillips screwdriver, the 10mm socket, a flat pry bar, and a T30 Torx bit. Right there. Yeah, this was super easy. And I say only 30 bucks. You can't beat that. Do it yourself, save some money. That's what I've always been about. I didn't grow up working on cars until I was like 16, and I had to work on my own cars. If I hadn't worked on my own cars, I wouldn't have been able to drive, because we didn't have money to take cars to a shop. You either fix it yourself or you got to ride with someone. When I got my first 12-year-old car and started having problems, I learned quick how to work on it and what to do. And my dad was there to help me, and we had some neighbors that were pretty good mechanics that helped out once in a while. That's all about helping people, and that's what this channel is about, helping you to save money and get your car back on the road. Well, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and bye for now.